oldest working harbour is gearing up to get a luxury cruise terminal, with the V&A Waterfront being the preferred bidder. Joining me in studio is CEO of Cruises International, George Argyropoulos. He's going to tell us what this means for business in South Africa. Hello.
Hi, it's lovely to be here, and well done with my surname.
Thank you. I was going to say, I said it, Argyropoulos.
Perfect.
Now, the V&A Waterfront is the preferred bidder for this luxury cruise terminal here in Cape Town. What does that mean for the cruise industry?
You know, I'm always a bit skeptical about countries over-investing in cruise terminals. At least not with the expectation that it's the cruise terminal that's going to improve dramatically the number of visitors to the country. A cruise terminal, in my opinion, has to be, from a design point of view, very attractive. It has to be functional. It has to be clean. The harbor has to provide a safe harbor, if you want, or a safe place for the ship. And then we're looking at things beyond that, like the provisions, the technical support, safety and security, medical facilities.
Yeah.
But most importantly is what is beyond the terminal, because that is really the number one reason for a ship to go to a particular port of call or a country. So if there's not much beyond the terminal, you can have the most amazing, most attractive, most expensive terminal in the world, but it's not really going to anchor that destination as a cruise destination.
How much money usually goes into making a terminal?
I have seen amazing terminals, particularly in Europe, and I think it was in Germany, in Hamburg in particular, made out of containers.
Wow.
And they look absolutely amazing, and of course at a fraction of the cost. So, you know, if you have a big port where, let's say like Barcelona or maybe Piraeus or Venice, where you have tens of cruise ships coming on a daily basis, 9 or 10 months a year, then of course you have to have the appropriate infrastructure to cater for the thousands of passengers that arrive on a daily basis. In Cape Town, so far at least, the calls have been infrequent, if I want to call them like that. Of course, the frequency has been increasing very nicely over the last year. So only looking at the brands that we represent in South Africa, we probably have about 20 or so calls this year, which is quite much more than what it's been maybe in the last 2 or 3 years. But we have to be careful exactly on the, you know, that the investment is not overcapitalized and that we don't create huge expectations. And for a cruise line to come to Cape Town is rated very highly. Cape Town, on ships that do world cruises, they rate Cape Town as one of the top ports that they visited in the whole of the world cruise. So
wow.
There's a lot of interest of international guests to come to Cape Town. The problem that we're facing with making those calls more frequent is that shorter cruises have a lack of destinations around or beyond South Africa or Southern Africa to go to. So we've got Durban, we've got Cape Town, maybe Walvis Bay, maybe a little bit of Mauritius, which is already quite far out, and you need maybe 2 or 3 days to get to Mauritius. So it kind of limits the variety and frequency of itineraries that we have to offer. Another reason is that we are very far from the source markets, primarily talking about Europe, North America, and lately maybe Southeast Asia and China. It's a very long flights, very expensive flights, and someone is not going to come all the way here just to do a cruise. They will combine it, of course, with a safari, whether in South Africa or in the region, maybe a stay in Cape Town before the cruise or after the cruise, and then a cruise itself. But it has to have ports, more than one or two, to make it attractive. And a port itself, as I said, it's really what matters is what is beyond the terminal in terms of the attractions, the safety, the infrastructure, the buses, the guides, entertainment, shopping, the history, the arts, the culture, and of course the natural beauty that we have abundant that will attract cruise lines to visit the destination.
Now, given all this information, do you think it's a worthwhile investment for Cape Town to have its own luxury cruise terminal?
Yes, I wouldn't call it luxury, but beautiful, functional, and good value for money, yes. But again, I would start with how many passengers or guests, cruise ship guests, are we looking to be catering for on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis? and take that as your first kind of parameter in order to build an appropriate terminal. Of course, with some expectation of good growth in the future. There's more and more cruise ships being built on a daily or yearly basis, which are looking for more and more places to go. And people, of course, have been to the Mediterranean 100 times, or the Caribbean, or Alaska, or other destinations, and they are looking, as the kind of cruising career grows, they are looking for more exotic and further afield destinations. So yes, there's a good future for cruising around the South African coast, but we have to make it kind of in line with the expectations over the next few years.
Now, you mentioned that the people who take your world cruises really love Cape Town. They really love stopping here. Is Cape Town a destination that people look out, like do they set out to go to Cape Town, or is it something maybe that comes as a package in the world tour and then they decide they like it, and from word of mouth people learn about coming all the way down to South Africa?
No. Cape Town is not, oh, by the way, we go to Cape Town and how lovely it was. Cape Town is on the shopping list or the bucket list of many travelers around the world. So it is one of the, if I'm not mistaken, top 5 or 10 destinations in the world. Any survey that you look and read, the Cape Town is featuring very, very highly there. But we don't see other areas or places like Cape Town in the Southern African continent to be as popular, and that again causes that itinerary planning concerns. Where else do we go? Okay, we've done Cape Town, now what?